Hello and welcome back. Today we're playing Japan here in Victoria 3. Last episode was a bit of a banger. We got recognition, we passed multiculturalism, our standard of living has been cranking up quite a bit. We added around 400 construction, which is decent, but considering the previous two episodes, we doubled construction. You know, the rather modest adding 25% was still quite strong. We are looking to kind of emerge on the world stage in a big way because now we're recognized. We are going to be deficit spending. We might even be able to, get a lot more construction this episode. If you take a look, our GDP is cranking up pretty high. In the heat map, we look excellent. Still not as high as over here. The AI in 1.2 is significantly improved, and we're going to be looking for, trying to find a decent war here because we're currently on 0 infamy, which is kind of what we're going to be looking around for. And what we want is we want an area with a lot of resources. Now, we're going to take a quick look at Korea because I had forgotten that we have claims on all of Korea. And as someone pointed out, we can take this, but they're not really that resource rich from what I remember, although this is quite a bit of resources here. And so this is a decent amount here. So we are going to start damaging relations with Korea. Now they are in the Qing market, and so maybe we do this, maybe we don't. We've been trying to get Qing into our market, which would be a pretty big game because we would be able to siphon off pops from them, which would make all of our labor cheaper, all of our buildings more profitable, and this sort of thing. Let's find a good war, though. Now, we can annex some of the boyos if we have waited long enough, but it doesn't look like we have. Vassalizing Argentina, we are trying to pull Argentina in the customs union, so we're trying to give it to them slow. And so maybe we even want to pick a fight with a great power, or someone quite big like the United States, who we don't have an interest in any region that they control or they influence, but this might be something to consider. Let's take a look at our diplomatic interests, because we get to declare a whole lot more once we're a great power. And let's come on in. And we could open up Ethiopia's market later, but that's really not going to be too valuable right now because we want to be decaying some infamy. We want to accrue some infamy, and so this is kind of where we're going to be. Now, unfortunately, Great Britain's already taken that canal. I think this one was also taken by Great Britain. We would like to fight Russia again, actually, but this is not quite going to be in the cards. We could try and get these guys in the customs union. I think they're quite likely to defend the borders. And so I'm really left kind of wondering where I should expand here, actually. I mean, what is all this border gore, man? Macron into Afghanistan would be a decent one. And we could just conquer state them. I think we're going to dominion them, though. Try and play a little bit low infamy. We have been concerned with, in general, a situation where it seems to be the case that, let's get war reparations from them. Oh, and Kalat's in there as well. I think we might as well. Well, they're likely to back down. Otherwise, we would put something in Kalat on there. But I think it's the case that if you have a unrecognized power of some sort as a subject, that, man, Great Britain's really like to do something negative about that. And Russia comes back to being cooperative. That's kind of amusing. We are going to bankroll this guy and try and get them in the customs union and maybe try and slow integrate them. Let's take a look at how much pop they have, actually. If they don't have very much pop, we will actually do the opposite. 1.7 mil. Yeah, so I think we'll actually just try and dominion them. And damage relations with them. Kind of using up all of our Diplo now. A little bit of a weird start. Now let's take a look in here, and we are going to try and 51 some things. I believe we have quite a few things in the queue. Man, I'm still trying to figure out what made this go up to 51, and I thought it was the auto queue just being absolutely psychopathic, but now I'm starting to suspect it was me being psychopathic and thinking that it was a different building and just building it up to 51 like a psychopath. It's not terrible because it gives more throughput bonus, and we will never have like another shipyard auto build, and so it's built in the correct place because that place has a 10% throughput bonus as well, but overall it's pretty not ideal. I think we will crank this up. It looks like we've already put a lot of stuff in the queue to get up to level 51. Now, important to emphasize why we're trying to get stuff to 51. That is the maximum that is where you get the maximum bonus from economies of scale. And so if you have any building on like 12 or 15 or 35 or something like this, it will benefit a lot from just getting to max economies of scale, which is why that's where we're targeting, our outputs in that regard. Looks like we will get a bit of a fight, which is unfortunate. We'll land with our little 32 stack here. Probably should have raised some armies, although they were already minus 75 fearful on regard to that. Our literacy rate has been cranking up quite nicely. We are researching text very quickly now, because I believe 2 episodes ago, no message to our Liberia. 2 episodes ago, we did add the double 51 uni. And we could add even another one and just start going ahead of time on more tech than we're doing right now. We're a little ahead of time on Malaria here. What I mean by ahead of time is there's 2 level 3 techs to be researched. And because we don't have them, we are having a penalty going for this tier 4 tech. But we don't really mind that much. And the reason we don't really mind that much is because Malaria Prevention is a really strong tech. And so we could do the same thing or something similar going for trench works kind of earlier than maybe we ought to, which would give us a lot of power in regards to, being able to fight these guys. But I think that, maybe we even want to do, like, electrical capacitors ahead of time? I'm not sure. The idea is, if you have so much tech spread, anyways, you will just kind of push ahead yourself while you let the tech spread pick up all the techs that you are behind on. And we could probably afford this, because if we take a look at the university is only costing us 70k here. So if we build another 51 uni, it's just another 70k, which is kind of within the realm of possibility, although I guess we maybe would want to increase construction. We're kind of having some problems in that we want the construction centers to be kind of localized and at home, and there's really not a whole lot to put up localized and at home now, is there? And maybe we should have gone for Korea way earlier, this type of thing. I think we're gonna add our big boy up here. He's not an expert offensive planner. This guy is, though. So in case the fronts split funny, we will be getting this guy, and then we'll be kind of close down to 0 infamy again once this war finishes. And we can't go after Kalat, but maybe we go after these guys. We can almost get them in the customs union. I think we're going to declare some rivals, because we keep, we're kind of butting up at the very low end of where we want stuff, and I think Russia's a fine one, and Spain's a fine one. And then let's take a look here. Now, Persia will very often be defending the borders, and so they are maybe someone better to get militarily, but just getting them in the market and letting them sit in the market would also be okay. We are floating negative 100 authority, so we're just going to come up off this consumption tax. That consumption tax scales kind of worse in the late game anyways. Why did that not give... Alright, well, we're just going to come off of all consumption tax. If we take a look at the population, I'm pretty sure that they are consuming services in the lower rung pops now that the SOL's climbed up, so we don't really mind getting rid of that consumption tax as much. Again, we're getting a bunch of mass migrations, which is quite nice. This is off the back of multiculturalism, but also the standard of living is going to crank up when we remove that tax. If you notice, a good way to think about it is this doesn't add up to 100%. As long as it's under 100%, the standard of living is going to be going up, and if it's over 100%, the standard of living will be going down, and you notice our standard of living should be cranking up right now in regards to all that. Now, is there 2 fronts here? There is. We're going to assign someone to the other one and look to get our push on, you know what I mean? Alright, we need to expand the construction, or we need to add stuff to the construction queue. For Sat, this would be fine. I think we're going to try and finish out the iron mines here in Sakhalin, and we're going to, now that mass migration is being a little bit better about things, I think they should be able to get populated. Now, why do you have people leaving? What? There are jobs. If you build it, they will come. That's the idea. So maybe we don't want all that. We don't have any more exploitable resources in the iron over here. I think we'll try and expand the coal, fill that out over here. And then we're going to have to start looking to the colonies for this type of stuff. These ones do not have any sort of malice for construction. So we're just going to expand here first. We're going to put that at the front of the queue. Great Britain doing Great Britain things. I suppose Congo is something we'd want to go after, but I believe they're improving relations with us, and so it's going to be impossible for us to go to war with them unless we expel their diplomats, and I don't think it's worth the 10 infamy that would cost, and so we're currently losing a lot of money, but you have to keep in mind we did lose the services, and so maybe we just come up on the tax rate because we lost the services tax, and this is probably fine. And we're losing a little bit of money, but we want to be losing a little bit of money. We're looking to deficit spend here. And we enforce on Kalat, who wanted nothing. Will you become... we'll just wait. Actually, let's check our infamy. Okay, we're still decaying, so we're going to let it full enforce here. And we're going to take a look at our bankrolls. We are slowly trying to incorporate people into the customs union. This will allow us to sap off pops from them, as well as make our buildings in general more profitable. We can get Argentina in using the obligation, and we're going to keep bankrolling, and we're going to turn on these pump jacks. Pump jacks is a very strong tech. We're just going to quickly finish checking the bankrolls. And make sure... Ooh, we could take on Iraq's debt, and then we could change them into the customs union. I think we're going to do that. It's only 500k. This is not a very large amount. And then we will come in and we will turn on the pump jacks in all of these. Maybe not all. We're going to turn it on in some. We're going to start with the dye works and the opium, because we care more about these being profitable and the silk. And then we're probably... and the rubber. And then hopefully that doesn't cause a shortage of engines. And then we're going to come into taking a look at the engine industry, which should be way more profitable now. And we're going to take a look what we can do. So Kansai is building up to a 30. We're going to make it 40, or 31, 41, 51. Again, chasing the economies of scale throughput bonus. And we will put a couple railroads at the front of the queue. Well, in the right place is where we'll put them. And then we'll take a look. They will accept peace. So we subjugate them and get this. Now is Jabal Shamar annexable? It is not. We kind of want to be a little bit quick about the annexes. And so now we want to find another war and be looking primarily for natural resources. So I mean, I guess we could take a quick little gander here. We could swap off of all trade routes to, or all goods to industrial goods, I believe is the one we want to take a look at. And with just the industrial goods, we can just click on here and it'll show the world's potentials. And we can maybe try and let that inform our little bit how we are spreading. I think we do want to fight Russia again, but we should have still a truce with them. We mainly want coal and iron, I think, and as well as oil. And I think we do not want to fight Great Britain, particularly... Ooh, we can form an alliance with Great Britain. We have to form an alliance for the hegemony thing, and if we have an alliance with Great Britain will join all of our wars, and they will not join in against us, for the most part. Considering they are the biggest pie sticker inner, we're going to try and get an alliance with Great Britain, and then we're going to go to war with somebody. I think this will be fine. We could kind of conquer states in Central America. This is not a terrible one. Taking out Tunis would also make sense. They accepted our proposal for alliance. Fantastic. I think we'll also... I think we're already expanding the Navy quite a bit. Or we've expanded it quite a bit. So let's take a look in here and see about if we can... Yeah, we can declare more interests as well. I mean, maybe we want to have a little bit of a tussle with the Ottomans. I don't think so. I'm kind of... Tunis has a bit of sulfur, which is not terrible. I'd prefer to go after unrecognized powers. We've kind of already hit a lot of the really soft expansion spots. And so, maybe... Well, maybe we'll kind of go after some of this, or some of this. And we'll go after some of the harder expansion spots. I think we do kind of want to go after Korea. We're just kind of, to be honest. Oh, how the turns table. The UK is importing dyes from us. Now, we could fight the United States for something like California, which will accrue a lot of infamy from us. But, the UK joins us. I think we would want to find another war against them, which we would need something on the District of Columbia in terms of an interest. And then we would be able to go after something like California, so maybe we want like this. Austria and North Germany are good to declare war on now, because they're fighting each other, but I think that's going to be a little bit of a narrow band. And we could go after... we can't go after Congo. I mean, we could go after France and look to take out some of their entry here into the Congo, right? We could take out Namaqualand. And considering... and Heroland... considering we would cut them off from this direction, I think I like this idea. So we're going to take a save, and we're going to go after Namaqualand and Heroland in order to cut off France's ingress into the Congo, knowing that the UK is going to help us, and that we should be able to enforce here. Man, oh man. Takes a little while to save, huh? Okay. We will go after French Namaqualand, which is cheaper. And we will have to fight Scandinavia and Tripolitania as well. I think this is fine. And then I think we keep this guy, that boyo, at home, and we mobilize everyone else and send everyone else out into these kind of territories over here. And I think we might try and, you know, find a few spots in which to expand or to try and push France. And we're probably going to put in more war goals here on France. They are confident. Why are you confident, my guy? Are you that much stronger than the UK that this is not like a good war for us? 48 versus 35. Okay, I think we can manage this. Perhaps we need a larger military. Well, we're looking to deficit spend anyways. So... let's kind of do some of this. Oh, it's so much faster to click on this. And expand the military. I think we'll be in good shape with the expanded military, and then we'll also go after this, I think. This won't give us any more frontage. We can cut off Japan's access. You know what we could also take is the Windward Coast, which they took from us quite a long time ago. It's 9 infamy. That's so much. I mean, that's not worth it, but perhaps it's more about sending a message. No, I think Congo actually has a lot of resources out of all of these, so taking Congo for resources would be decent. And taking Heroland to reduce their coverage would also be decent. So why don't we take Heroland as well? The reason why the other ones are expensive is because they're incorporated, I think. And we could add this to primary, but this is going to give us 2 infamy, so the war is probably going to pop off anyways. We can also go after war reparations, but then we'd have to land them. We could use our triple landing method. I think that maybe this is... I think maybe we don't have a big enough navy to try and land them yet. And so we're just going to kind of do this here. We're going to... actually, patrol coast is fine. But we can cut off all their access if we take Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast, of course, will probably be incorporated, would be my guess. And so it'll cost a lot of infamy. Yeah, it does cost a lot of infamy. Whereas something like Congo or Gabon is going to be cheaper. Yeah, French Congo is a bit cheaper. I think actually maybe we're okay with the current war goals, and we're just considering whether or not to add something else. Now, Tripoli is a subject. We could release Tripoli. We could also transfer Tripoli. I think that's a little bit much. But if we release Tripoli, this will be good. Releasing Algeria would be decent. We could probably land there. I think we'll just wait and see what they manage to do with their maneuvers. They might pull in some people. We might have to try and pull... Well, we can't pull in anyone. I suppose we could load if Germany joins. But I think they're a little occupied, so... I think this is unlikely. Are you still confident, my guy? Man, that's so crazy you're confident. Do you have trench warfare? Is that why you're confident? If so, we might be walking into it. You do have trench. Yikes. We might be walking into it a little bit here. I think we can manage to get it if we do landings and this sort of thing, but... It might be the case that we don't actually want to push on fronts where we have both us and the enemy assigned. We just want to hold ground on these fronts because pushing into trench is a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. Let's check our bankrolls real quick. We have an obligation. We can pull Mexico into the customs union using the obligation. And this is why we're bankrolling in the first place, to pull into the customs union and maybe protectorate. Now, Iraq is a protectorate, but they don't want to join, become a protectorate because of that. Or sorry, they don't want to become a protectorate because we have a truce. So if we get all these 100% pushes in, and they don't decide to really commit much resources, I think we could just push them here. This is kind of the last spot where we can add war goals. I don't think there's any war goal we especially want to add. We are going to have a hard time landing them and pushing them because they're on trench warfare. And I think that releasing Tripoli, we might have to land them. It might get messy. I think we could comfortably get all this, and so we're going to go for that. Now, here, this guy... we're actually also going to activate our conscripts in our two places where we have good conscripts. This might be the last time we activate conscripts, but I think this is going to be good or useful, and then we're going to land this in order to enforce on them. Get a little bit of a rev in Iberia here. And we're making so much money. We don't want that to be the case. We did add the military. I think we're going to add... in on here another 51 uni. Now we're spreading them out instead of just stacking them, you know, higher on the 51 already, because actually it's probably not that tremendously useful to spread them out. Let's actually take a look at the government, and we would actually prefer the Intelligentsia to have more clout. So what we might do instead actually is instead add like another 30 in the capital, where they get a little bit of a bonus for their not their clout. Yeah, you get a bonus for your clout in the capital of about 50%. What's this guy's name? We're going to Tomonsuke Saito. And we are keeping the biggest boyo at home to defend against French landings, which I think will be forthcoming. We are getting a little bit of enforcement on them, or they're getting -1 a day, and we are getting -0.4 a day. We do have to be cautious about actually fighting them. If we get assigned on a front, and they have a bunch of guys on the same front, what we will likely do is we will likely just defend the front, not wanting to push into the trench infantry, which is going to be pretty bad for us. We'll assign one of these guys elsewhere. For a little bit of a faster push, we'll put him over here. And we should be able to take him out of here in Africa. Enforcing on this should be relatively easy. It would be extremely difficult had we put in war reparations, because then we'd have to land their capital. And in this case, what we're going to do is we are going to kind of brick them, hopefully, from any sort of Congo expansion down here. And so we will end up getting a lot of this down here, as well as a lot of this. Great Britain we will have to share with. They're our ally. Sharing is caring. It's not the worst. It's not the best. We're also going to lose a bit of convoys, but they're getting most of their decay because we control the war goals. And hopefully we push through here. It looks like we're going to be doing alright. And so we're going to land into here. We control half the war goals. We're going to control another war goal soon. And then we just kind of sit and look pretty. And let the war figure itself out. Japan and France are going to fight. And we could also think about what we maybe want to do for the next war. We're damaging these guys' relationship. I think that's because they're conservative. Well, they're relatively low population. This will be a fine dominioning. And so I think we just stay on that. We are kind of looking for decent wars here anyways. We don't kind of have too many. We're just now kind of getting on the subject train, you know? So, we have an obligation with Iraq. We can't pull them in because of our truce. That's right. We don't have an obligation with these boyos. Argentina will defend the borders a little bit. They tend to be a little bit more conservative. Generally speaking, if the government's more conservative, they tend to defend the borders more. Peru, Bolivia, we can invite them if we had a obligation, which we do not. We're kind of making money. We kind of want to be losing money. We're going to add another. We're going to take that up to level 100. Just 100 flat. Because it's already getting the 51 bonus, you don't have to necessarily like double it to 52. We're going to take a look at actually some laws. And we're going to reform the government. I don't know what we're doing here. Okay, let's take a look. What laws do we want to maybe pass? We have restricted child labor. We could do compulsory. I don't think we're going to do that. I think we do want to get onto universal suffrage maybe, but man, there's some pretty big oppo to that. A bit wild that the trade unionists are not stronger here. We do want to empower the trade unionists with our laws, which would be universal suffrage, but we also don't want to piss everyone off. Yeah, we're gonna lose the industrialist bonus if we do that. Protected speech would be decent on us. We're gonna lose a little bit of authority. We're kind of just floating extra authority right now anyways. This will increase our tech spread. I think this is a good one. A bunch of groups don't like it, but they just barely don't like it. It makes the trade unionists happy. We'll pick up the trade unionist bonus and the Intelligentsia bonus by going to this, and so this seems good. Even if we couldn't pass it, it would still be good. Just to put in. We now control both the war goals, so we should be decaying them at around 1.5. A little bit more, it looks like. Modern nursing unlocked. Hell yeah, brother. And we're about to research our tech that we're currently on, malaria prevention. So I think that what we want to do... we instantly get it because feminism gets unlocked. I think that what we want to do is ask ourselves, is there any tier... Well, actually, we don't even have all the tier 3 tech. So I think we just go straight for trench here. Trench would be really nice to have. We can go ahead of time, let our natural spread pick up the other stuff. We can kind of pay more for that at this point. Could also go reinforced concrete. That actually... I actually like reinforced concrete more because we want to expand construction, but we can't really do it in our home territories. But we could just get more throughput here. And this will bring us closer to being able to push through to the tier 4 tech like capacitors, steam turbine, these types of things. Combustion engines also going to improve the military, and this will maybe be a little bit more efficient. Now that we have malaria prevention, we're going to just put in everywhere we can. Bring out the maps and straight edges. We should be cruising now through these guys. And very importantly, hopefully we manage to get this last little snippet of Heerland and don't have to try and take it off of France. Or France gets it, and then we get it when we enforce on them. This would be ideal, and then we will have the full coast. We won't be able to do this to the UK, this cutting them out thing, but disease among the wounded. We'll take the minus recovery rate. It looks like we're not fighting too many battles. We're not looking to fight very many battles. We're probably just going to defend fronts. These guys are over here. I think we're just going to let them stay there. Maybe we'll return them to the capital. I think we're pretty safe from any landing. We're making a ton of money now. We really do want to expand construction. I think that we actually will expand construction. It's a shame we don't have a better place to put it. We could also incorporate this guy. We're floating a whole bunch of extra up here. It'll be a 21-year incorporation, but I do want to find a place that kind of makes sense to add construction centers. So we're going to add them here. could also incorporate Macron. Oh no, we can't incorporate Macron. Now we incorporated over here, I believe. So we can expand construction here, maybe. Eventually, we will be getting oil here. This is part of the pump jacks thing. Speaking of, our economy, we should have finished a bit more of the things, so we will turn on automatic irrigation for everything. Shortage? No. Okay. As long as it's not running a shortage, we are good with expanding it as much as possible. A shortage of engines is the thing we are concerned about here. Now, I think we could probably swap all these to elastics, and hopefully this doesn't cause a shortage of rubber. Maybe let's just swap over a couple at a time. Oh, looks like all the big ones are already on it, so let's swap all this over to elastics. Just cruising through the PMs, looking to see if there's anything we can do. Our standard of living is kind of coming up, so it could be the case that we want to start using more labor-saving PMs here, like rotary valve engine, etc. It looks like they're not quite good yet. They're probably conditionally good, like for example, where we do not have a lot of labor, like Hokkaido, they're going to be extremely good. As they are kind of here. We have a weekly balance. We're having problems. So that capitalists became laborers in the iron mines. It's fantastic. We love to see it. But we're going to need more migration. I think we are going to decrease taxes here. We're going to decrease taxes a lot. Just rejuice money into the economy, which will also raise our legitimacy. I think we need to keep the progressives in, because we're trying to pass a progressive law. And protected speech will be pretty good once we get it. Rubber has been discovered in Liberia. Cool. We could maybe integrate Kenya or something like this. I don't think... Well, if Zanzibar is the spot where we're actually going to have a bunch of trade centers, then maybe we would want to incorporate Zanzibar. This will be quite a bit of... The problem is the incorporation is really slow. We need to take Asian territory. I think we really want to go after Korea just so we can incorporate it, maybe. It's kind of unfortunate. Getting mass migration events, though, so this is nice. Let's see if there's anything we can do in the journal. We're not going to do Zeppelins. Okay, well that's not something that we maybe could quickly do. That will happen naturally. I think we'll survey the Panama Isthmus. I mean, I guess we have a lot of conservatives, right? We could swap back to monarchy. Trade unions will really hate this. Somehow the landowners hate it? Excuse me? Why do you hate it? Because elitist is they oppose monarchy and they prefer parliamentary republic? Oh, that's fair enough, I guess. Can we afford... What are we looking at for bonuses here? So we can either have the tier 3 bonus of the Industrialists or the tier 3 bonus of the Trade Unionists. I think we'll take the... Well, we're going to pass more stuff that the Trade Unionists like in the nearest future. I think we'll take the Trade Unionist bonus then. We do definitely want to get more... Well, I guess... Maybe we want to do something else here. Just a moment here. Sorry about that, I am back. Oop, I guess we want to declare war. Now would be a nice, since we're decaying anyways, it would be a nice time to integrate one of our subjects. We do have to maintain another subject to try and fulfill this requirement anyways. We can't go after these guys. Sure. I mean, I think... Yeah, we have a lot more interest we can declare now. Maybe we can go after Dynam. I think we Dominion Dynam. Oh, we're in a war right now. Silly me. Silly Billy. I forgot we're just waiting this war out. Yep, this is all we have to do. They will decay below 0 because we control all the war goals. This is unfortunate. I don't want to get the minus approval, so we're gonna just go for this. Now the trade unionist things are getting deactivated as well, so. I was trying to find another war when we haven't even finished this one. Mexico wants a defensive pact. We're gonna say no. Long-ish term, what we want to be getting on is having multiple alliances in order to finish this hegemony thing, and so we're gonna try and do that. But yeah, it's just waiting for France to decide, hey, we're gonna lose these anyways. I suppose the longer it goes, the more likely we are to completely fill out this coast, which is really what we want here. The airships are closed. No, the airships are coming. The airships are coming. Okay. And then we can think about our next war. We are decaying, so we could go after Jabal Shamar. We can also just straight up Dominion Dynam, which I think I like. They're pretty close to our market center, and so it won't be too many convoys to maintain this, and then we could later integrate them, and I think we will have 5-year incorporations on this territory, and it's not Chinese territory, but it's still pretty good. Yeah, maybe we just want to go after China, man. I keep hemming and hawing here. But we should be able to get 5-year incorporations on their territory as well. While it is very expensive in terms of the amount of bureaucracy it would cost, I think that this is pretty good. Yeah, we probably should have done that differently. Been very, very willing to fight Great Qing early on. We even had like an alliance with them at one point. France and UK are kind of going at it, which we do not have a problem with in the slightest. And so this increased throughput is going to cost more money in terms of all the goods. It's not going to cost more for labor for construction, but the construction good price should spike up by 15%. Why is this tooltip not locking? The hell? Is it because this is here? Did I forget to swap back my settings on this? I did. Rip, I haven't even noticed. Because I'm not reading that many tooltips. For a tutorial, I was doing that. Alright. And then I wanted to look at a tooltip and suddenly... This should come up, right? No? Increased throughput. Oh, it's because we're not building everything. Alright, so let's just take a look through our industry. We're going to come in, we're going to see which buildings have the most earnings or productivity. Ooh, man, these are really good. So we're going to crank up there. Just trying to 51 some things. I think in these two places we actually could just put everything on auto expand as well. The two places we are we have encouraged manufacturing, or just about everything. There's not enough people right now, but if you build it, they will come. And there you see our construction jump up to 2,500 once the throughput kicks in, and then we're suddenly losing a whole bunch of money. Now, I don't think we want to be quite losing this much, but, you know... I think part of it is us losing convoys, but that's a little bit alarming. We can always increase taxes back up, though, just a little bit. That's really not going to stem the bleeding there. That is a lot of, well, the goods are going to come down in price. Right now, the goods are really expensive. Okay, so let's find... Well, we're going to need telegraph to go towards that anyways, but here, I think we might just go threshing machine into electrical capacitors. Electrical capacitors is really good. Combustion engine just lets us expand the military at the same time as doing other stuff. Are we paying quite a lot on Subsidies, we are, and combustion engine helps with that because you can increase demand with public motor carriages. Let's add electric Pastures here then. And so I believe our problem is not only are we using 15% more construction goods, but the increased demand for the construction goods has made all of them expensive. So let's see about maybe, so that's 35, 40, 41, 51, something like this as well. Because that is a construction good. And then we will also come in and try and see if we can do something like this for steel. Don't think we want to put it up in Hokkaido. These Kyushu should have a little bit more. 30, 45, 51 there. Something like this. That'll help out a little bit. They are so close to accepting this. Now they will accept it. Do we want to hold out a little bit so that they don't get this? Let's take a look. We're going to wait 77 days for them to get this, and then we're going to piece them out here. They're not going to capitulate in that time, but this will prevent them from having anything there instead of having just that little blip, which would be a little bit annoying. That uprising is a little obnoxious. Because that means we won't be able to declare war. It's not the big steal, though. But yeah, just gonna watch this here. And once they get this, then we will enforce on them and take everything, and then they will have no access. Scandinavia is out. I think we could actually expand our institution with malaria prevention here, which I had forgotten about. Well, let's come in. I believe we have a level 51, let's get out of this. Level 51 government in both of these places. So we're going to take a look in and try and see where we have insufficient tax capacity. Ooh, we have, this is isolated. Let's fix that. Let's fix that. Let's fix that. And let's fix that. Alright. Second thing is we're going to come in. Insufficient tax capacity. Yes, where is it the worst? Chubu. So we're going to add a bunch in Chubu. We're going to add 5 at the front of the Orkyu, or 4. And we're going to put this at the back. And then next worst is Kyushu. We're going to add 10 for you. And then next worst is Tohoku. And we'll add 10 for you. And that should be enough. We also are doing this survey for the Panama Canal. Grand Columbia interest deactivated. Do we need more boats? Well, we could also upgrade our boat guy. I think he's already pretty upgraded though. Yeah. So he's still filling out. We could go for Generalist, the military tech, that would allow us to kind of recruit things faster, but we're not going to do this. And we're just taking, hopefully Japan, or hopefully France does not capitulate before they get this, otherwise they'll have that tiny little node. But this is a little bit gamey, but we don't want them to just have this monstrosity. Alright, now will you accept peace? And we take it all. So they are locked out of the Congo now. Prefab hospitals, great idea. No, actually this is a much better idea. Some work towards antibiotics, and notably, we could go by messengers. We're gonna go field hospitals as well on all this. And did we get, where is the naval bases? We're gonna delete that. Although we are quickly not spreading monitors soon. We are losing a little bit more money than I would like. I believe we cannot start a play here because of the diplomatic uprising, which is fine. We are decaying infamy, also fine. Let's take a quick look through our bankrolls and see if we can get anyone in. We can protectorate Iraq now, because they do no longer have a truce. So we're going to protectorate them, and then we're going to damage relations with them, which will incur a decent amount of infamy. I think 3.5, because they're not recognized. It's not too much, actually. We could invite these guys to the customs union for free. Let's do it. Let's go, baby. We could also stop bankrolling Iraq, of course. It used to auto-stop you when they became a subject or a protectorate, and now it does not. So once we get an obligation with Peru, Bolivia, we can protectorate them as well. And we will hopefully enforce on these boyos pretty quick here. Dissenters break rig. Splitters. I don't think we want to incur this enormous thing, so we'll do this. And we'll take a look at market prices. Yeah, steel is very expensive, as is glass and boom booms. So we will come in here. We already have a bunch of steel in the queue, but let's try and 51 another place, even. Now, we don't want to do Hokkaido, Ryukyu Islands, so Tohoku will be next. Right now it's at 14. So 24, 34, 44, 49, 51. And we will add some railways ahead of there for Tohoku. To help with that, the glass is also expensive. So let's see if we can top any places off on glass. Shikoku will be 31, 41, 51. And we're going to come in and we're going to kind of make sure that everything is auto-expanding that should be. So anything that's close to 51 or 51, we're going to put on auto-expand. Except the Arts Academy. Those things can kind of do what they want. We don't want to build them actively ourselves too much. Looks like we're in pretty good shape. We can kind of maybe do this here. And we don't want any of this auto-expanding because they can't really sort out the migration. Suppose they're getting a decent amount of migrants right now, but... Oh, we're getting weird front splitting. Gotta love it. This guy is more than enough to put down all of this, but, well, he's not, though. Having a little bit of troubles. Standard of living dipped a little bit. I'm going to turn on monitors immediately. Which probably makes it so we can declare more interests. So we're going to come into diplomacy and go to declare interests. Don't hate something like this, maybe? Now we are floating a bunch of excess here, so we could perhaps bankroll New Granada and Venezuela once we get the interest. We could get Ecuador into the customs union, so we could siphon off pops from them. Our population should be growing at a pretty good clip with multiculturalism. Looks like we're gonna put them out of their misery here. And then we're gonna be able to declare war. We currently have infamy, so this is nice. I think we wanted to Dominion Dynam. We do have to get 5 subjects for maintained subjects, and we have 4, so Dominion Dynam will put us at where we want to be. We have an interest now in the Nile and Anatolia. So I think what we'll come and do is we will go into the market, and we will, or actually we'll just use this tab. We are going to go through all the things we want to import and make new imports, and all the things we want to export and make new exports. We're actually going to come in here and we're going to cancel routes we don't like. That's particularly unproductive, so we're going to get rid of that. Anything that's over -10 productivity, we're going to get rid of. But a lot of these are kind of routes that we want to have anyways. We want to be importing these goods, these types of stuff. We don't, well, maybe we want to force tools down France's throat, but it's maybe not the most efficient thing, but we want our tooling industries to be profitable, so we'll keep all of these. I don't see any trade route I absolutely hate. And then we'll come in here and we'll look and see if we could import, generally speaking, either mining inputs, because we want to encourage other countries to build it, even if it's maybe not the most profitable, but these aren't big countries, or we do want to import stuff that is landowner oriented, and so we will be doing that kind of regardless of what's going on. Especially if it's like 0 convoys and someone we kind of want to get into the market anyways. It looks like a lot of our routes are kind of already set up pretty nice though. Not seeing any hugely productive routes. Except for these, because we did dramatically increase steel production, so we're going to import a lot from them. Russian market, maybe. Austria, certainly. Germany, certainly. They have a lot of resources they can exploit in that way, and we will also do Brazil. Alright. Lead. Now we can import a good amount of lead. We do want to encourage them to exploit their natural resources in general. Although this is less of a concern in 1.2, the AI is a little bit better about building out its own natural resources, so this is kind of good. We'll just import from a lot of them. Looks like we can import oil from the Americans, which is something we were interested in. Import from the kebab. Maybe we can get kebab as a protectorate. It's looking kind of good on the trade front with them. Classic. Sicilia should have quite a lot of this. And more from this from the Ottomans. So maybe we're going to get some Ottoman friendos here soon. Of course, the Ottomans or Middle Eastern countries in general will be cheap to import wine and liquor from them because they are taboos, so they don't really consume that much of them. Let's see if we can get any cheap liquor from them as we are mentioning that. Nope, not really. Okay. So we have a ton of food industries, and so this should help out quite a bit. Should raise the standard of living, bump it up nicely. And this should capitulate soon, then we go after Dynam, I think. But let's see if we can bankroll these boyos. We can get a trade agreement immediately. We can start bankrolling them. Now we'll probably just leave them in the customs union because Ottomans are very frequently defending the borders. So it's unlikely we can protectorate them full out. But this is... Alright, we get Japanese colonization rights here. We're going to take a... Well, no, we're just going to colonize, or to colonize. We're going to Dominion Dynam here. We're not going to save beforehand. Terrible. And now, I think this auto pulls Great Britain. Ooh, Great Britain must have broken their alliance with us. Unfortunate. Let's improve relations with them. We don't want their finger in our pie. I think we kind of can take this no matter what happens, though. And it's unfortunate we couldn't take Congo, because then we could have been expanding here and been a little bit faster. But as things stand, you know, they are going to get a decent push into all of this. We could have also conquered through here to get into here faster, but they're going to get this big chunk here. We're going to get this kind of here. I think that's about what things are going to look like. Kind of a maybe 40 whatever split. We're going to go for war reparations on them as well. And also ban slavery and open their market. I think we might make open market primary. Yeah, they just back down before we can do anything. So we have a nice little chunk of infamy. And I think we are finishing, yeah, maintain subjects. And so we will probably come in and try and annex some of them that are unrecognized. Now, can't annex these boyos yet, but we're sitting on a decent amount of infamy. And so we don't need to, you know, make any money moves. We are spending quite a lot here. Now, was there something else? Looks like our income is trended down, and this bump was us getting the construction tech. We have quite a bit of construction. You know, we came up around 600, but I don't think we should be hemorrhaging this much money. Why is it not taking more out of the investment pool? We should be on 3/4 instead of like half, in terms of... So the investment pool, it just doesn't like buildings because they're not profitable enough or something? So this is 29, 31, 41, 51. 21, 31, 41, or 51, Tohoku and Shikogu. I mean, we don't mind deficit spending, but it is starting to get to the point where it might get a little bit out of control. So we're gonna come in here. To Zembi. Alright, fair enough. I'm gonna mobilize 2 guys in case there's a funny split somewhere. Steam powered. I don't think these will... Well, maybe they'll be profitable. Let's take a look. Yeah, okay. You got me. Oop, we'll switch that on over. Just quickly go through all these things. And we will... I didn't realize we had discovered oil. We'll come up and put a whole bunch of oil in everywhere. And once that finishes, we will be able to turn on vacuum canning for everything. Now, the Conservative Party is continuing to crush. We do need to keep the Liberals in. Somewhat. I guess we could do this. We're just trying to get protected speech. Ooh, we could increase taxes a little bit. Or increase this. Get up over 100. And then come in here and put a tax in on porcelain and decrease this back down. And this will put a little bit of dent in the thing. We are floating a bunch of excess bureaucracy, and we wanted to do that because we wanted to increase our institutions. So let's do this. And we'll also increase home affairs. We would like to get more bonuses and kind of help out with the radicals and this type of stuff. Standard of living cranking up. How's the economy doing? Stalling out a little bit with the war with France. I think the convoys is one of the problems here. We're going to see about building a little bit more ports. Kind of solve some of our infrastructure problems with ports. Would be really nice to get on electric railways as well. Let's take a look. We are researching capacitors, and so we could make a move for it. I mean, it's just next, right? So, something like this. Combustion engines not spreading to us anyways, and then we go for the good old trench warfare, and then we fight Russia maybe after we get trenched, something like this. Maybe we have to up taxes a little bit here. Kind of not looking to do that, though. Not really. Let's take a look at our bankrolls. Well, we can just get a trade agreement with New Granada. It's pretty free. And that'll improve our relations quite a bit. We can invite the kebabs to our customs union for free. Now, you're defending the borders, right, friend? So we probably don't... I don't think we want a defensive pact with you, but we can stop bankrolling you, because probably not worth the 30k. Let's take a look. Do we have... Are we losing a ton from Diplopacts? We're losing a decent amount from interest, subsidies, welfare payments. A little bit. Why are we paying welfare? Don't have a welfare thing. Yeah, government wages are continuing to rise. So maybe we overbuilt the tech stuff. Because as the standard of living comes up, the government wages are going to go up. We got to get rid of this one now that we have protected for speech. But this is going to increase the tech spread, which is going to be quite nice. So if we take a look in here, this is now being modified by plus 25% instead, and we are getting tech spread real fast. So if we are spreading 3 techs, we're getting 120 towards that tech. When we're actively researching something, we're getting 155, so our techs are flying in. So I think we want to mostly do ahead of time research. Actually. So maybe we'll put in trench idea next. Something like this. I mean, we are kind of suffering. We are injecting a lot of money into the economy, and I'm not sure if we can afford it at this level, but we're gonna try. I think we can build out through this, so this is why we're doing things like this, but I could be mistaken. We might have to delete, we'll have to delete construction if this is the case. Let's see about how many interests we can declare. We do want to fight Russia eventually. We can just put those in for now for quality of life. I love tech. It's not too terrible in terms of price. Unfortunate that they broke their alliance with us. I didn't even notice that. I think what we're going to do is we're going to call it a day here. A little bit of a chill episode. We did fight France, and we forced France out of the Congo, out of sub-Saharan Africa, which this was pretty nice. Felt productive, also felt nice to just kind of fight a great power and win. Other than that, it's been mostly small ball. You know, we've gotten some important techs in this episode. If I recall correctly, let's come into the production. I believe we got like pump jacks this episode. We got couple military techs that were decent. We got malaria prevention, so now we're cruising in through the Congo. And so I guess the story is we're going to get a big chunk of the Congo after this episode. And so this sort of stuff secured our future in the Congo quite a bit. We now have a bunch of rubber. We're going to have the oil from there, the oil from there. And so we're also importing oil from the United States, this sort of thing. And so we're kind of, you know, turning a little bit of corner. Now, things are getting expensive because the standard of living is rising. And this increases the normal wage, which is the average wage of all your incorporated states, which is causing, you know, the government wages to be particularly high. And a lot of this comes from, you know, the universities and the construction centers and the government administration, and we have cranked up the unis real high, and so we might have to come back down. But right now we are enjoying like a tech spread that's almost as fast as, you know, our active tech research, and so we're really cranking out a lot of tech right now. We might have to come down off of this. I think I'd rather come down on this, off of this, than off the construction. Just try and keep the economy growing, but for now we're just going to cruise with it, at least maybe until we research trench, and then maybe we come down off of it, something like this. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and have a good one.